think we're going live. Hello and welcome to the Magenta Show. We're in season 8. Been going since 2017. Isn't that awesome?
It's amazing. Oh. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I have got an amazing guest. I actually kind of almost poached her at an event and said, you got to come on the show. Lisa Cavender, welcome, darling.
Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be here.
Fabulous. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to do a little bit of sound check here. Yeah, because I totally forgot. We got so chatting away. I forgot to say take
my
noisy bangles off because of this thing picks up all the sound. Even if someone knocks on the front door, everybody on my show knows who's knocking on the front door. So if FedEx ever comes during the Magenta Show, you'll ding dong. So my darling, I met you at Cora's event.
The Toronto Women's Club.
The Toronto Women's Club. You did a talk. I couldn't be there for the whole day because I was called away, but I met you and got chatting to you. And by the time I left with Michael, I said, well, the whole reason I went there was to meet you.
Oh, thank you so much.
And here you are.
I know. And the universe just delivered an opportunity for both of us to connect. It was just so lovely to meet you. Yeah.
I'm very pleased you're here. Yeah. She's got the most beautiful icy blue eyes. I wish you guys could see it. Just such a beautiful woman. So let's just say hello to people who've joined us. Aurelia from Denmark, Lorraine and Cunningham, Shannon, our darling Shannon. Hello, my angel. TaylorMade Speaks. Hello, welcome.
Good morning.
And Joanne saying good morning. Welcome. All right, so today's one of those days where there isn't, of course, there's never a script on the Magenta Show. we kind of make it up as we go along because that's what keeps it real and organic, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
But for those of you, if you are tuning in for the first time, please remember that you have got the opportunity to pick bottle number 1, 2, or 3. And at the end of the show, we're going to reveal which colors have been picked this week for a special message, guidance color message for you. And people do come back to us and say they're pretty accurate, and we have a conversation after the show about it. Okay, Shannon's saying number 1. Oh, Shannon, you're gonna love number 1 because that is Lisa's pick. And I know what's going on in Shannon's life right now. So I know number 1 is your number. Yes. And Tina.
Oh, Tina. Thanks for tuning in, yes. Tina. Nice to see you.
Lovely. Excellent. So you're from the Caribbean. That's where you've been living for a long, long time.
Turks and Caicos Islands.
It sounds like Turkish or Turkey.
I know. I know. When as I was mentioning to you at the event, I moved there in 1996 and people hadn't heard of Turks and Caicos back then. And people thought, I'm moving to Turkey? Like, where are you going? The Caribbean, near the Bahamas.
So, Lisa is a Reiki master. She's also a CPA, right? She's almost qualified or just about to qualify as a Jack Canfield facilitator and many other things. So this is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, Lisa, when I met you, is you have this, you've been in this red corporate world, being in the financial world, and then you've also dipped your toes and been studying your soul, your spirit, the Reiki and healing. You even told me you've studied some color therapy, and you've done that. And this is why I do this show, by the way. It's to show the world out there and our audience out there that you can have the best of both worlds, that you can be grounded, but That's you can also be of service and to find that middle path. I call it the Magenta path, the middle path, right? How has that journey been for you? Finding that middle way, going from one extreme to the other and then trying to find a middle ground.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and what I love to teach people is that really it all starts with sort of your passion. What are you passionate about? Getting in touch with what really lights you up, what's fun for you, what are your true gifts and talents. And then from there, sort of your purpose kind of evolves and unfolds itself, becomes known.
Yeah. But the key is to start with looking at passion. So this would be, if somebody was in a corporate world, it's the same question. What are you passionate about? If somebody is wanting to serve and they're more spiritual, the key is, what is your passion?
Right.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Because really, once you're living your passion, everything just flows. You're in that flow state where everything becomes more effortless and you have synchronicity and the right timing and the right connections come and everything. And you get into that energy where you're setting your intentions, you're living your passion, and then you take the actions from the corporate material sort of,
bringing that, but
the duality world.
So I want to ask you, what are you passionate about? What lights your fire?
I love empowering people, especially women and young kids, to really connect with who they truly are, because developing a relationship with yourself and knowing that you can count on yourself, as I call it in my program, conviction, just knowing that you're good.
Yeah.
And you're confident, and that doesn't mean
and
you
that
won't
you're
have
perfect as you are, because
Exactly.
that that comes with that knowing. No. Okay, hang on. I want to ask the audience something here. I want to know, what are you passionate about? We've got our fabulous guest Lisa Cavender here today, who's saying that she's very passionate about helping women and helping children and helping them find their power and helping them find their purpose and what they're passionate about. What are you passionate about? And then I actually want you to tell me a yes or a no. Answer this question. Tell us, what are you passionate about, and are you actually living it? Are you actually following it, or is it still a dream and you've not taken action, you've not made it happen? I really like to know that from our audience today. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you passionate about? And yes or no, are you actually living it, being it, teaching it?
And as I was mentioning, like one of Janet and Chris Atwood's certified passion test facilitators. So it's can be anywhere from sort of a 3 to 5 hour workshop, just really diving in deep and discovering what are your top 5 passions. And of course that evolves and changes over time. But that's a really great place to start, is just going through the passion test and really understanding what that...
You have your own program, and you've actually brought it here. And I know this is what you were sharing with people at Cora's event. And this is 5 Steps to Freedom, a roadmap to success. 5 Steps to Freedom, which is a roadmap to success. And the first one you've got on here is step 1, calm.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you can't...
Sorry, but that's so contradictory to when people want to take action, a roadmap to something. It's like they want to do something and you go, calm. I love it. Tell me why calm?
Well, because... as you and I both know, and my longtime teacher, Jack Canfield, talks about his equation, E plus R equals O, which is the events in your life plus the responses equal the outcome.
The outcome, yeah.
So really what I teach is all about how do you manage the responses? Because you can't always control the events.
Yeah.
Life happens, things happen, but we always have a choice how we'll respond. And so if you are not in a place of some calm and groundedness and centeredness while the chaos is whirling around you, then you don't have access to solutions.
Yes, the creativity shuts completely, doesn't
and
it?
you're just wrapped up in the stress response, and you don't have access to your prefrontal cortex. You're flooded with stress chemicals. And you're all tight. You're not in the same energy of the solution, for sure. And so the first thing is to just learn how to be sort of calm and not in that stress, so that you can listen to your intuition, you can listen to your inner guidance. I teach a lot about just listening to how you're feeling inside. A lot of us, it's all about what's going on out here and chasing something externally, but I'm trying to pull people back inside themselves a little bit and say, you know what? Yeah, I feel a little something going on. Maybe it's a little nagging kind of feeling, but that you can't really put your finger on it, and what's going on here. And as you were saying, sometimes people have a passion about something, but they're not acting on it. Well, why? What is that thing that's holding them back, and really getting in there and then unraveling it and letting it go.
Michael has asked, we've had Elaine Pye said, spreading more optimism.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I wonder how you do that. Anne says, that's been for me the last 10 years, slowly getting back to me. Yeah. What are you passionate about? We'd love to know. So, okay, we're going through the 5 steps. That is a roadmap to freedom. Right, and this is by Lisa Cavender, our lovely guest all the way here from the Caribbean.
And freedom to me, and freedom can be whatever it means to anyone, but to me it means freedom of expression, freedom to be yourself, financial freedom, emotional freedom.
So you could apply these steps to any part of your life, or to any, whether you're in the corporate world or in the entrepreneurial world, spiritual world. Okay, so step 1, calm. Stay calm, guys. Stay calm. Step number 2, clarity.
Yeah, because then once you're calm, then you can kind of see the bigger picture. You can see really maybe a problem or a crisis or a situation, an urgency from a different perspective. The passion test is great for clarity, big picture clarity, like what am I really passionate about and where am I going? So at this time of year, I love to run my clients through this process I call passion, purpose, and a plan. So although I like to drop in and do the energy work and everything, I'm very much still a business person. So we still need a plan. We still need to take action. But first, it's sort of leading with the vision and the feeling, and then taking the action. I call it inspired action, as opposed to just running out taking action without kind of being ready for it.
And this is such an issue now for people who are entering the business world, or in the business world, they're not really successful. You might be inspired to serve, you might be inspired to be a therapist, a healer, give back to the community and serve in some way, but you then, and I know in a lot of spiritual teachings we get taught we must be in the moment, be in the flow, let things come to you, and it feels almost passive, and it feels almost inactive in some ways, because you can't see or touch and feel the energy, because it's kind of happening all around you all the time. And in the very masculine teachings we have, it's this pushing, selling, getting things out there. And it's trying to find that middle way, isn't it? That, again, the Magenta way, as I call it, that middle way, which is how do you inspire with a plan, as opposed to pushing a plan to happen.
Right.
That's a dictum,
well, because that, so then really step number 3, courage.
Step number 3 is courage. 1, calm. 2, clarity. I'm going to have this in my head by the end of the show. And 3 is courage. Okay,
because
how
then,
does courage
because then once you have the clarity and you want to maybe bring a new product or service or something out into the world, and you're feeling a little hesitancy, of course we have to build up our courage muscle to maybe take a different kind of an action. But what I notice is if people go from A and try to jump all the way to Z in one fell swoop, it's too much. So they end up going forward and then coming back.
And feeling a failure at that point.
Exactly. So and scientists have actually proven that when you take small, consistent steps outside your comfort zone, they measured it actually down to like 4%.
Wow.
I'm glad there are people out there doing that kind of measuring. But, these tiny little steps outside your comfort zone, then you integrate that.
Yeah.
So I kind of say to clients, is it okay if I stand up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's like you're here and you want to be over here. Well, you just take a little step and then you're like a new version of yourself here.
Yes.
Then you're more apt to take another little step and
another little step.
Before you know it, you're at the finish line, and it's been more joyful. It's been more enjoyable. It's a little bit of stress because it's something new, but not so much stress that it's not any fun.
I'm going to share something personal with you here, because this courage is something that I've just had to embody, because I took a 10-year vision and created an online academy, the Moira Bush Online Academy for Soul Businesses. Woohoo! I did it. 10 years. Mind you, I'm slow. And I did it, and I launched the first product on it based on a bunch of people, like hundreds of people saying to me, oh, this is a subject that I want to learn from you. Please, can I have an online course? So I spent the whole of August writing the script, developing the animated slides, launched it, and I was so full of expectation, and 5 people signed up. And I went, what? And I got cross and I got angry. I did another whole bunch of lives talking about the emotions around it. And because I thought to myself, I had all this courage to create it, to channel this information, put it in an online academy, put it out there, and then 5 people were interested in it. And I thought, what now? And I think I did exactly what you said. I had this expectation where I was in this moment and I wanted to already be there. I've already sold the 100 to the 100
because you
people
can
who
see
asked
the
me.
vision.
Yeah.
It feels so real. But then in the material world, you have to take all these little steps.
I know. It's like, hello, in the first 2 hours, no, you're not going to get 100 people signing on to the academy. Get real, Moira. So yes, I had to really have a very humbling experience around that. But what I want to just say to audience here is, if you've ever done that, if you've done that with me, and you've done a similar process to me, don't lose your courage. The fact, and sometimes in I know in spirit world versus business world, sometimes the fact that you had that courage to do it, your soul thinks you've already passed the exam. The soul goes, you got 100%. You got an A+.
But
in the business world,
right.
it might go, hey, you've not made money. You need more people. You need more sales strategies. You need to market more.
That.
And it makes you feel a bit like a failure, right? But in spirit world, it's the fact that you did it. You succeeded.
But then, what I also talk about in this whole process is your beliefs, right? So it's always really important to watch what meaning you're making about things. So if you make the meaning that, oh, well, my online launch wasn't a success and it's a failure and all this because I only had 5 people, then that starts affecting your confidence and your feeling inside of yourself, and you're less likely to take an action. What I was getting, the download I got when you were telling that story was, if I may share it, is that those 5 people probably will get such a deep personal experience with you because of this. They'll be able to get so much more of a transformation that they'll be raving fans, raving customers. There'll be great testimonials for the next people, and it will build your confidence because you'll have the ability to run through one. How long is it's like 8 weeks or 10 weeks? You said, right?
Yeah, no, it's a 12 video lesson.
Yeah, so then they go through it, and then you can work out any bugs, tweak it how you might want to, and then do launch 2.0 with more and more and more momentum. So a big thing I talk about is momentum. So you've got the snowball rolling.
Yes.
And it's going to keep
building
up.
Which is that be in the moment, like when you stood up, be in that moment, be in the next moment, be in the next one. And actually, everything you've just said has actually happened. I've had those those first 5 students have given me glorious references and feedback and have been amazing.
Yeah.
And then I had Amy Barroso was here yesterday, my graphic designer who's working with me on my next book. And we spent most of the day yesterday together, and I happened to tell her this story, and she says, Moira, if 100 people asked you for this course and 5 people bought, that's a 5% success rate. You do understand that that's above average in business. 3% of 100% is actually 5 is like you've overachieved. So it brought everything back into context again.
Right.
That to just don't lose your courage. If you're passionate about something and you want to create a product, you want to create a book, you want to create something to help people out there, whatever you're passionate about, keep your courage. Step number 4 is the confidence. Don't lose your confidence. I love that. Thank you. Let's just see what people have said here. I was looking for the academy. I could not find it. Elaine, Michael will put in a link for you. It's Moira Bush Academy .teachable.com, I think, something like that. just Norma has said something at the top. Michael, can you just scroll for us? Norma, I'm passionate about assisting individuals I support with varying abilities and diagnoses like autism, Down syndrome, and more, to reach their potential mentally, physically, and spiritually while accepting themselves for who they are with confidence and creating a space of social acceptance. Wow. That's amazing.
That's a wonderful mission.
That's amazing.
And in fact, as I'm reading that, what a wonderful mission for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, imagine what the world would be like if more and more of us could really accept ourselves for who we are and just have confidence. And because, you know, even though we're teaching, we have programs, all of us are on a journey. We're all learning. And so it's a journey. It's a process, right?
I love it, Norma. I love that you teach other people confidence. I think that is amazing. Aurelia says, I like to inspire and encourage people. Yeah. That's a good passion to be, you know, to feel like you want to inspire and you want to encourage people, you want to help. And I mean, that is all really, that's good. It's a good passion to have, because that's about being that service energy, wanting to make a difference, right?
Yeah. As long as, you know, because one of the lessons I had to learn many, many years ago was to be of service, but then to know where a healthy boundary is.
Yeah, oh, that's an interesting
Because if you go too far in the service and then you're depleting yourself, you can't help anyone if you're not helping yourself first, which sometimes as women especially, we like to help and help and help, which is amazing, but you can't pour from an empty cup. Like, you have to serve, you know, one of my teachers, Lisa Nichols, says you have to, you know, you have to serve people from the overflow in the saucer, not from your cup.
Oh. So get yourself to overflowing.
With tons of energy, tons of confidence.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so let's have a look. So step number 1 was calm. Step number 2, clarity. Step number 3, courage. Okay, I got it. Thank you for that.
And they're all building on the next one.
And then step 4 was the confidence. And step 5, conviction.
Yeah, that's sort of like the integration step, where you're sort of pulling all of that together. You are standing in your knowing and just really trusting in yourself, knowing that, life's going to come at you. I mean, we were talking about this before the start of today's show a little bit, about how we have seen unprecedented amounts of change technologically and in our society in the last, you know, I was saying, you know, when I moved to Turks and Caicos in 1996, we were on Netscape on dial-up connections.
I can still hear that.
And no voice over internet protocol and all of that. And just in 23 years, how exponentially rapidly everything is changing. And I think what's happening is people are really feeling the effects of all of this change and upheaval, and people's lives are a little bit changing more quickly than they would have ever done. And so if you don't have these foundational steps and tools, then adapting to all that change can be
overwhelming, really.
For sure. And
I think that's also where we lose our boundaries then, because you're so busy going all directions.
Right. So then when you have learned these and sort of embodied them, then you can stand in your, I call it conviction, of knowing that, the world could be really changing really quickly and things are coming at you that you don't expect, but that you've got it handled. You know how to stay calm in the midst of all that chaos. You can get clarity on what's really going on here. How is this serving me? Even though sometimes at the beginning it might look like this situation is not preferred, as I would say. And then, okay, well, what's the courage I need to muster and the confidence to then maybe take an action that I wouldn't normally take? in response
and
to
especially if you are passionate about something, to not just leave that passion burning and not feeding it, not going on that cycle,
Right.
because you can become trapped by your passion. You can become trapped by it. There's no freedom in passion that is not put into action. I'm hoping you're hearing me say this, because I know I was passionate about writing a book, and I took years to do it. I was passionate about doing an academy, and I took years to do it. And all the time I was thinking about it, I started feeling trapped by this passion, this desire to want to do something and serve in some way, and I didn't take enough action to make it happen. I eventually did. I'm very slow. I eventually did, but once I did it, it released me, and it freed me up, and then more creativity and more
Right.
ideas have come in. So you can get trapped by your passion if you don't take action and actually put it out into the world. Let's have a look. Melissa Jolly, who's the founder of the Color Mirror System.
Oh, right,
Yeah, I was telling you
yes.
about it earlier. Service and boundaries are such an important topic right now.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Thanks for sharing
Thanks for that. Yeah, we agree. We definitely agree. All right. So you also have a bonus tip here. Watch out for common pitfall.
Isolation.
Oi.
Right? So even though we are more connected
Than
ever
ever
before,
before.
and I love technology, I use it to my advantage living in Turks and Caicos to be able to connect in with people all around the world. I love it, but you have to be careful that you are not hiding behind it. And also, I think because some people, if they haven't learned some tools of, I call it listening in. How are you feeling? What's going on inside of you? Getting back inside yourself. Then there's, sometimes, how can I explain it? Like a tendency is the right word. A tendency to kind of pull back, retreat, maybe not show up at events or dinners or with friends or with colleagues, or work from home too much or whatever, because you're just not really wanting to show up, and it's just easier to isolate.
It's easier to isolate.
And if you do that, then what happens is you have a tendency then to get too much up in your mind, which then the mind
can play all sorts of tricks.
Yeah, it can run away with you, and then it gets you out of your calm and out of your clarity. So,
I get that.
As long as there's a balance.
Yeah,
I'm all for having some alone time. It's healthy, but not so much that you're then pulling yourself back and retreating too much.
Well, I love the way you don't isolate yourself, because you've turned up here today. You didn't have to, you did. You turned up here today. But then another way that you can stop yourself isolating is you've created these incredible gift vouchers for our audience. So we've got 4 amazing gift vouchers to give away, plus an extra bonus gift. So just bear with me while we tell you about this. You need to have been sharing the show on your timeline, in groups, in pages. It can happen today, it can happen during the next week. And then on the weekend, 4 of you are going to win some alone time, one-to-one time with Lisa Cavender, our guest here. So 2 of you are going to win a 30-minute laser coaching session. So what's going to happen in that? Would you want to tell them?
So,
the 2 people that's going to win
right,
this one?
so laser coaching, come with a burning question, issue, problem, something that is like a bite-sized thing that we can chunk through in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
not 10,000 problems, okay?
Right,
One
but that
specific
could be
thing that
that
you
could be
need a breakthrough with.
right.
Yeah.
And because I'm an entrepreneur and I've run my own businesses before, that I often will work with small business people, because maybe they're struggling in their business or in their work-life balance, or their lifestyle tends to be more blended than employees that work in a bigger company. It could be people going through a transition, maybe a career change, maybe a lifestyle change, like a divorce, a separation. I've done a lot of coaching on people going through those kinds of
even problems
situations.
for children, because she's a mum.
Yes.
So even your children, whatever's bugging you, you can get a 30-minute laser coaching. 2 of you are going to be able to to win that. And then the next gift that you're giving them away, 2 gift certificates for a 90-minute, this is a longer one, mind, body healing and release session. All right, so if you've been sharing the show, you can be entered into the draw to win one of 2 90-minute. You want to tell them a little bit about what this is?
Yeah, so this is, as I was saying, I like to get people back inside themselves. And not everybody has that roadmap. But if there's something that's holding you back, if you feel like maybe there's a belief or a fear or something that's just stopping you from really living out your passion or your purpose or getting in the way of you taking action,
doing those 5
steps, then there's a process that I can walk people through where they get back inside. We connect the mind and the body together and unlock those beliefs, reframe them.
And they can do this over the phone or Skype, or how do you do it?
I usually work with Zoom.
With Zoom? Oh, that's good. Good tool, yeah.
Unless, in 2020, I'll be doing some retreats in Turks and Caicos.
Ooh.
So unless you want to come to the island, I would
come on,
love to work with you there too when it starts to get colder here.
Oh yeah, the winter's around the corner here for us. Yeah.
I know, the leaves are already starting to change a little bit. I noticed this weekend. I was surprised.
It's early this year. It is here in Canada. All right, so there you got it, my darlings. There are 4 gift certificates to give away. You have to be sharing the show to be entered into the draw. But you have a grand prize as well here. You have got a masterclass. And this is unlimited to how many of you wanted to be a part of it. Yeah. What do they need to do to become part of a masterclass with you? A free masterclass.
Yeah. So I set up a private Facebook group just for your audience. So join the group. Yeah. I'm sure the link will be posted.
Has he got it up? Yep, he's got it up.
It's called From Chaos to Calm Masterclass. And just log...
From Chaos to Calm.
Yeah.
If your life is in chaos right now, you want to join this group. From Chaos to Calm. Excellent.
Yeah. And because chaos can be not just emotional or mental, but it could be something as simple as just in your routine or the way you're structuring your day or your business or whatever. The external environment, from feng shui, we know that affects our internal. Our internal also affects the external. Yeah. But it's really about working with all of that. Yeah. So the practical things like organization and routine and structure, actually a lot of people think, oh, well, if I have too much structure, then my spontaneity goes out the window. And what I found is actually the more you can kind of plan and have a little bit of structure to your day, then it frees up time to go play and do the things that are
agree
really fun.
With that 100%, because I know if when Michael and I are up in the morning and we go, what are the 3 things we want to get done today in the business, and we set about doing it, at the end of the day we assess, we end up with all this free time.
I know, which is wonderful.
Incredible. But when we just plod along and then we find at the end of the day we feel we haven't accomplished anything. And,
which creates stress.
It stresses
and
us.
then feeds the whole sort of thought process of, I'm not successful, I'm not doing, I'm not achieving.
It takes you right down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's exactly. So.
I love it. Okay, so we were asking earlier in the show, we were asking you guys, what are you passionate about? And are you actually following your passion or not? And if you're not, please go back to the beginning. If you've just joined us, go back to the beginning of this video on the recorded when we load it up, and just have a look at the 5 steps with the 6th bonus step that Lisa Cavender, our amazing guest here from the Caribbean all the way, is sharing with you to help you achieve and make some of your passion a reality. Because your passion isn't worth anything if it's just a thought. You need to be doing something with it to make it to take it out into the world. Otherwise it has no meaning.
I know. And I'm just noticing Anne's comment about I don't know what is stopping me. That's the whole gift of doing that and inner exercise, because
so be in the draw. Yeah.
If you have this sense that something is stopping you but you don't know what it is, it's perfect. That's the work. Yeah. And it's sounds like, it's Pandora's box. I don't want to get in there. What am I going to find in there? It's it's really not that way. It's quite a simple process, and I'm all about teaching people the tools that they need to develop that relationship for themselves, so that in the future then, if something pops up and they're feeling a certain way, those feelings are just our inner guidance system. So it's really just learning the vocabulary of what is that, and getting a sense of what does it mean, and what's it trying to tell me, and how do I shift it.
You're writing a chapter in a collaborative book on this issue. Yeah, very soon we're going to have your book on the shelf. This is an amazing shelf up here. This is all the guests that have been on the show since 2017, and their
an
books.
Amazing shelf.
I know there's been a lot of authors on the show, so your book has to come up here. So tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so it's The Secret to Wealth Part 2.
Ooh.
So, it's sort of an amalgamation, an integration of my beliefs and dedication to having wealth, however people define that. So that could be financially, that gives people freedom. But wealth is so much more than that. It's abundance of time, it's abundance of health and relationships and fun and passion and all of that. And what I found is that building up your self-worth is the fastest way to grow your net worth.
Oh, hashtag moment.
So
building up your self-worth
to grow your net worth.
To grow your net worth. So it's no use focusing on money and creating a net worth if your self-worth is low or it doesn't exist.
Yeah, because then you don't have the wealth of fun and freedom and enjoyment, or you don't have the passion associated with it. So you may achieve some financial success, but then maybe it doesn't stay because you can't sustain that if you're not really enjoying it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to congratulate you ahead of time.
Thank you.
On this, when is it coming out, Lisa?
The end of November.
This year?
Yes.
Wow, so you've written it?
Yes.
Wow, well,
It's
congratulations.
just at the publisher, so it'll be...
So you got to come back and let's have a copy to put on the shelf.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime I'd be happy to come
the
back.
Magenta show is going to slowly edge. Sorry, Melissa, it's going to slowly edge all the bottles out. We're just going to have books here.
You'll be into the next shelves, right?
I'll have to take my books off, and I can't take the bottles off. I'll take my books off.
No,
and put
I
the
love
next
these bookends. They're so pretty. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So, all right. So, what I would like to do now is to remind the audience, please, first of all, if you haven't yet picked 1, 2, or 3, pop it in the comments box. I can see the TV screen behind the camera there. 1, 2, and 3, which one you're drawn to. At the end of the show, we're going to reveal that for you. But right now, I want to offer you a color reading, because it's probably been years since you've had one, right?
It's been ages, yeah.
All right. So, what would you like clarity and guidance on through the color system?
How best I can serve.
How best can you
Because
serve?
I have a lot of talents, and I have so many ideas of different master classes and different things to help people. It's almost like I need to just pick a couple and focus. I'm getting too many. So it's a little bit on the clarity, but
it's a little bit what Melissa was saying about the service and boundaries, and and what do you focus on, and what do you
and I want to do what is fun for me, because I know when I'm in my joy, then I will help more. But I also want to help people in whatever is needed, right? So after being in Turks and Caicos for as long as I have, I may not have a sense of even in the Toronto area or, in different parts of the US that I've been traveling in. And I was in Europe this summer. There's a lot of commonality, but there are differences in different parts of the world. So I'd just love to know
I would agree.
What are people's top sources of stress? What are the things that are not keeping them calm, or where are they struggling to have clarity? Because then it helps me better serve.
Yeah, and it niches you, which makes it that you're specialized in a specific field. That's
sure.
important. All right, so what I want you to do for me, Lisa, is to have a look at the wall of bottles behind you there and pull a bottle, the first one that you're drawn to, and just put that on the lighting box for me. Here, you can stand up and have a good look.
I just want to feel my way into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first one I was drawn to, without thinking, was this one.
Okay, pop that down for me here. Okay, now I want you to, I'm going to ask a question,
Okay.
and I want you to look at the wall of bottles again. So this is a general one. What is it you're trying to create? Now I want to kind of niche it down. What is the target audience? What is the target client? Who's the person that you can serve? And then I'm going to ask you to pick a third bottle that is the what, the how.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right
we first
now
want to look at who
is the who.
and then the what and the how. Yeah.
So the who.
So who is it that you could be focusing on as the niche market, the niche group of people to serve? So just feel for one that you're drawn to.
Who.
Good. And then the how. How best to serve those people represented in that bottle.
I've got two that I'm trying to
Bring them
choose from.
both. Bring them both. Yeah. It's good that there's two. Excellent. All right, let's see what conversation we can have around these colors. So the very first one you picked, Lisa, is this number 12 bottle. It's actually called Heaven on Earth. And you remember we were upstairs, I was mentioning how the magenta is made up of violet and red. It's violet and red. So there sits the crown chakra, which is the connection to service, and there's the red, which is the connection to the base, to the earth, and to the reality and the humanity, right? Your soul and human coming together. And so overall, your purpose, it's, to me, that one answered my question. So what's your purpose? What's your passion from a soul perspective?
Right.
And it says you're here to bring heaven on earth to people. And I love it that you live in heaven, a heavenly place in the Caribbean, lovely, warm. You kind of live in that environment, island life. And really what this bottle 12 says, that is your mission on as a soul being on the planet, is to teach people that they can have heaven on earth. Heaven isn't something you go to when you die. It's actually in being a human on this planet.
That's spot on.
Spot on. All right. And I love that you've also experienced life in the red world as a CPA in the financial advising, and you did that lot. And then you've also dipped into the spiritual world and, studied Reiki and all of that. So it's about bringing the two worlds together. I love that. This is, you are like so the best Magenta show guest in the world, because you do the Magenta part. You'll have to write in our collaborative book a chapter as well about this. Right, then I asked, now who is it you're going to serve? And you pick bottle number 5, and it's actually called Mercury. So these are you could look at this in two ways. Normally people pick this bottle who are going through a massive change. They're reinventing themselves. This is people getting divorced, who's changing countries, who's changing jobs, who's starting a business. They're doing this massive shift in their lives.
My path.
It's your path, exactly. But the other thing that I want to bring this into is, because Mercury is a planet of communication, this is about people finding their voice.
Yes, that's what that is.
Do you get it? So,
yes.
So if you were to niche yourself, and if you were to say, and target people, say, if you feel you haven't got a voice, if you feel you're not heard, or you have something special that you want to bring out, I can help you with that. Because one of the things you and I both know about this magenta path, this middle path, is we've been waiting a long time for the world to be ready for us.
Yes.
We knew this stuff years ago, but the world wasn't ready for us. I mean, Elise and I were talking earlier about how we've been going to these business events and how people are meditating at business events and seminars. It's happening. We've been waiting a long time for it. But what if there's still a core group of people who feel they have that inside them and they're fearful, they don't have that courage or confidence or the conviction to actually, or clear about that clarity in their message, to come up and say who they are. Yeah. So maybe this is really finding some, to me, this is about how would you take somebody that has got so much going on and they've got so much chaos, the chaos to calm, around them, and they can't quite see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
So how are they going to reinvent themselves, come out the other side, that they still feel solid and grounded?
I know. And what I find is, even amongst the professional executive women or women who have their own businesses or home-based entrepreneurs, people who have a lot of achievement, often are the ones that don't have a voice when it comes to certain kinds of, either in their relationships or if they're in male influenced work teams, then maybe they hold back, they don't speak up, they don't really step into their power completely because of the dynamic. If they're with men that are, I call it from the old paradigm, thankfully, thank you men that might be watching. Men are evolving and changing, and
they're
it's
also embracing
amazing.
the divine feminine. It is happening.
But there are many from other generations that didn't quite get that memo.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's the people who you wouldn't think need the voice actually still need their voice heard.
Yeah. And to me, it's women. It feels to me that it's women you need to be helping.
And kids, because sometimes the adults aren't listening to the kids.
But then that is also, the children are there to teach the parents something.
But then, depending on the type of family structure, sometimes then that parent has to be aware enough.
Yeah, so you work with a parent to be able to become aware. Okay. Now then I said, so how do you do this? So you hold another green and then red, and red's a complementary to green. So to me, because these two colors mirror each other and they are the complementary colors, red and green, to me it would be that you need them to do inner work. They need to, it's like looking in the mirror within themselves.
Right.
So the red says that they need to get grounded. You've got to give them and teach them how to get financial foundations, and those foundations you spoke about, where wealth is part of it, the wealth creation is part of it. So that the book you're writing, the chapter you're writing in this collaborative book, needs to become a book on its own.
For sure.
So you can teach people about foundations. That's why you had your earlier life as a CPA. You know about investments, know about long-term financial planning. They need that. So you that's number one, because it's C1, it relates to the base.
Yes.
Then you've chosen bottle C4, which is straight to the heart. So how do you connect what you're passionate about in the red energy and fiery about and your foundations with the heart?
Right.
And because C4 is that heart chakra, it's green, and then there's some turquoise coming in here, which is also that expression and communicating from the heart.
Yeah.
Exactly. So to me here, it's almost like the workshops you do has to be, or the work that you're going to offer these women, it's got to be quite practical. It's got to give them a little bit of material grounding, but then how do I open my heart, and how do I make my decisions that it comes from my heart and not my head? You know that research they did at Stanford University where they discovered that little brain in the heart? You know about that?
Yes.
If you guys don't know about this, it's amazing. They found a little organ in the heart which has got about 50,000 cells, and it actually gives off an electromagnetic field that is 7 times stronger than the bigger brain.
Yeah.
So
The heart
there's
has
an
its own
intelligence,
mind,
and
yeah.
it's in heart intelligence, right? It has its own mind, and this to me feels like that's the intelligence you want people to connect with is through the heart.
Yes,
and
definitely.
heart-based energy.
Yeah, it's all like it's as I was saying earlier. It's all about. That's why my company is called Energy, because all the energy comes from inside of you.
Inner energy. I love it. So I think your branding with your branding is correct. I think the way you're going with the book, you're on the right path. I think that you wanting to be international is also correct. My feeling here would be that because the turquoise has come in, you need to do some of it in technology, and the green says some of it in person.
Yes.
So my suggestion would be, or what I'm intuiting for you, is build your community through communication, through talks, through the book. Make sure that you connect with people through webinars. You're really good with Zoom, but then I think you need to offer them a retreat, a
For
space
sure.
to come to. So you in the Caribbean, you've got to make retreats. You've got to let people come there to that lovely green space, and heal from within when they're with you. So the deeper work will happen in person.
Yeah, and we have fabulous resorts in Turks and Caicos, and I've started developing programming and relationships with the ones that I think will offer that kind of envelope to do that kind of work. And also something that is my passion too is developing what I call sort of wellness tourism, because we've all been to a wonderful resort. Maybe we've partaken in the spa, we've had a nice massage, we really decompress, we have a great time, and then 2 or 3 days after we get back into the rat race, it was like we were never away. So my vision is what wouldn't it be nice if people could come away on a vacation, so it's still not as intensive as a retreat. There's a place for retreats for sure. But come on vacation to Turks and Caicos. It's beautiful. And then learn 1 or 2 little tidbits from this process that you can take home and immediately implement, so that you prolong those benefits of all that stress relief that you had on vacation long after you're back home.
So what you're doing here is you're bringing, because a lot of people go to retreats because that spirit. I've been to a spiritual retreat and I ummed and ahed and did all of that wonderful meditation stuff on the beach and sat by the fire and it was fabulous. But what you're saying is your red stuff coming into it. It's linked with tourism.
Yeah, no.
Come on, do your annual holiday and link it in with some healing energy. I love that. That is exactly what this red and green.
It has to be practical, as you were saying. It has to. It has to It has to integrate into people's life in a way that's easy.
Yeah.
It can't be, oh, okay, so I need you to spend 1 hour a day doing all of this stuff. The way I teach, it's like tiny little things that when implemented over time, builds that momentum, and it just becomes second nature. It just becomes a part of your routine, so that you don't even realize that you're doing it.
I know. I have to say that Melissa Jolly and myself have over the years, we've been working business partners now since 2004, and we've hosted several Kalamaras gatherings, international ones in South Africa. And one of the things that I love so dearly about Melissa is we'll be in a class and we'll all be like really serious into the bottles, and then she'd suddenly look at her watch and she'll go, or somebody will send her a message and she'll check her phone. She goes, "Hold it, we're stopping right now. The whales are on the bay. Let's go whale watching." And it's like, poof, okay, day's learning
Off
done.
we go.
Off we go. The whales are in the bay. I love that about her. And that feels that practicality, that yes, there's time for learning, there's time for grounding, but also remember to, to be open to the flow and just let things
because then
evolve.
you can do coaching after a vacation like that. So then the experience can continue after, either in small groups,
Now,
large
that's
groups,
an
or
interesting
one-on-one
thought,
coaching.
Lisa. So
right?
because most people go that their retreat is their top end. When you look at a funnel, when you look at people's business plans, that is like the ultimate to get people to come. And then what do you do after that? It's done, right? But what if you had them come to a retreat and you funnel them into your business? You flipped.
Yeah, because
that's a thought.
Yeah, because
I love that idea.
I know for myself, I would never expect of someone what I wouldn't want as a consumer.
Oh,
right? People are too smart now, and they're too intuitive.
Oh, yeah.
So I could never expect someone to just sign up for a year-long coaching program
and they
like
don't
that
know who you are.
when they've never had any interaction with me. I mean, this is great because people get to see us chatting and interacting. But, when I went...
You got a client already.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Sorry, I interrupted you there, Lisa.
Yeah,
Juliet says, I'll come to that type of travel. Anne says, yes, I can teach yoga
Juliet,
on the retreat.
Well...
There you go. Hang on, you're getting some response from this. So what we've got here is playing with the idea that what if we reverse engineered the way that business plans normally flow? Normally they go from let me drip feed a couple of things and then lead them to like a $10,000 retreat kind of thing. What if we took your holiday, your vacation time as a tourist, incorporated that with some well-being experiences, some meditation, some inner work, got to know who you are, and then go, okay, now I'd like some coaching, I'd like some mentoring, I'd like a year program. I love it. I think this is flipping things on its head, this red and green.
Well, I've never done anything the way everyone always does it, and that's a good thing for any of you people who run businesses, to not be worried about what other people say.
Yeah.
But really it's about getting the mind out of the way and thinking about it too much. So I'm all about, they have to have an experience. They have to feel what it is I'm talking about.
Yes.
So whether that's, one of these laser coaching things, whether it's a half-day workshop, I do sort of not just the masterclass, but a chaos to calm sort of workshop. Like I was saying, the passion, purpose, and a plan, like help people sort of really get ready. Like the end of the year is coming
I'm
fast.
sorry, but I don't want to hear about that over Zoom. I want to be like on a beach in the Caribbean. And we're sitting there watching the sun and the wind and the seagulls, and we're having a talk about it. I mean, that would be the ideal way to do it.
Or maybe I can do a one day or a half day here in Toronto, so people get to know me, and then
that could be. So if you want to meet Lisa in person, you guys are going to have to go to her from chaos to calm, go and connect with her there, have a masterclass with her, get to know her, and then see whether you're going to end up in the Caribbean on a beach with her, learning all about connecting to your inner self.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Right. We're going to give our audience a reading. We've got to move on with this one. So we're going to go, those of you who picked number one, who were the number ones? I think Shannon was one.
I think Shannon,
she picked number one. Darling, you have got the Blue Angel of Communication, and that is also your pick. I'm going to put them here on the table. So that is also your pick, Lisa. So this is the Blue Angel. It's blue that goes on the throat. It's about communication. So those of you who picked number one, more public speaking. That's all I'm going to say. More public speaking.
And so what did I do last weekend? I was at Toronto Women's Club. I'm here today. And November 16th, I'll be in Ottawa, sharing the stage with Jack Canfield and Kevin Arrington.
I have a secret crush.
Sunil Tulsiani, Cora Cristobal.
No, hang on. I have a secret crush on Jack Canfield with my husband's permission. Yes, sorry.
I know.
I've always, if I can get Jack in the conversation, I do. Thank you for
Jack's
that.
been a huge influence on my life and my career.
He's amazing. His energy is amazing. So you're going to be there with Sunil Tulsiani and Cora have both been super, super guests on our show. Sunil's our record holder for the most of you.
I know.
Yeah, I know. He's pretty hot.
Fantastic.
With that. Yeah.
And
when is that happening?
November 16th in Ottawa.
Yeah. She's going to speak on the stage for Jack.
I know.
I'm so jealous.
So that's about getting out of your comfort zone.
That's way out of comfort zone. Right. So those of you picked number 1, you've got a very, very high standard set here by Lisa. Go out there and speak on stage. Those of you who picked number 2, I think Hillary Scott, you were a number 2. I saw you pick a number 2. You have picked Michael, our producer's pick of the week. And it's a clear one. It's got a little bit of a silver glitter in there. It's called the diamond. It's a little bit of a diamond.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Diamond unicorn. Oi. Okay.
Ooh.
Now, the diamond unicorn is sometimes about aesthetics and about grooming and about doing your hair and getting your nails done and making sure that you are looking after your image. But not just on the outside, but also on the inside. So the diamond unicorn is that diamond that shines. Because the diamond you can see right through. You can't hide any grimy things, right? You can see right through a diamond. So this is about shining from the inside and the outside. But this is also for me a very important message that the diamond unicorn says, you are perfect and beautiful and amazing as you are right now. Nothing needs to be improved upon.
That's right.
So, Miss Hillary, I hope you heard that. You are perfect and beautiful as you are. And Michael, our producer, that message is for you. You're already a polished diamond.
We all are.
I wish I'd picked that one now. I picked number 3. So, who's picked number 3? Did we get any number 3s, Michael? Number 3 with me. Oh, I wonder who's picked number 3 with me. I picked copper. Now, very, very unusual for me to pick copper. And this is called a copper dragon. But I think I felt your Reiki energy because I know people in the Reiki world who are busy going through their studies and becoming masters always get drawn to this copper dragon. It's very grounding. You know, the energies of Reiki that comes from the earth. And the earth healing that comes with it. So they love this earthy, coppery dragon. But lately I've been very drawn to, Joanne said she picked the number 3, Joanne Arjun, and I've got number 3 this week. Copper is about getting grounded, getting real, and it comes into your life after a period of time where you felt a bit floaty. Like the shock I had about the academy and like what didn't happen according to my expectation. I was like, what? And just getting grounded again and breathing in that I am space, putting feet on the ground. So Joanne, you and anybody else that was felt to draw number 3, and those of you watching the recording, if you've drawn number 3, get grounded, get real. Don't take things too seriously. Breathe into the moment. Enjoy the moment you're in. Enjoy the process you're in. Let go of expectations, what you think things should be, and just breathe in that moment and relax. Okay, in that moment. So I'm hoping that's useful for you. And if you're thinking of Copper Dragon, if you're thinking of moving to a bigger home, Copper Dragon will help you find a bigger home. I want a bigger home.
This is a lovely studio.
I want a bigger home. So that's us. That's number 1, 2, and 3. So I want to thank you so much.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. It's been so much fun, and I love interacting with your audience and getting to know them a little bit and what's resonating. It's fantastic. So
well, it's lovely that they've gotten to know. You know, I used to talk to people like this without a camera, and it was like so much good information comes in these conversations when aligned souls meet, and it's just fabulous to share it with everybody. Yes. Remember, share. You have an opportunity to win 4 vouchers, free, wonderful sessions with our guest Lisa Cavender, as well as join the Calm to Chaos closed group, and you can get a free masterclass from Lisa. Thank you, my darling, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week. Cheers for now.